I got a lot of games here, so let's get started. First I'll start off with some N64 games. It's been a while since I got an N64 game. In fact, the most recent one I got was, besides these two that I'm going to show you, the most recent one I got was a Harvest Moon 64 back in the summer. But, I'll show you the two ones that I got. First one I got was is a Rayman 2, The Great Escape for the Nintendo 64. I was a huge fan of Rayman for PS1. Well, the original Rayman's on many different platforms. I just have the PlayStation 1 version. But Rayman 2 is also, more fun than I thought, actually. Like, I barely looked up gameplay for it. I didn't know much about it. But, I decided, I was at a game store and I decided, you know what, I'm going to go for this. And I don't regret it. It's a fun game. And, I like it. Also, I really like the green cartridge. That's nice, actually. Next game I got here is a Japanese-only game. Puyo Puyo Sun 64. Well, the only thing that's English on here is Sun 64, but it does say Puyo Puyo Sun 64. Or maybe it's Puyo Puyo Sun 64. I don't know how you pronounce the Puyo Puyo or Puyo Puyo. Anyways, so yeah, this is not exclusive to the Nintendo 64. It's also on the PlayStation 1, Game Boy Color, and Sega Saturn, but, I have the N64 version. Gameplay-wise, well, if you're not familiar with the Puyo Puyo series, it's a puzzle game, and whenever a Puyo Puyo game was in America, or North America, or just anywhere outside of Japan, because, I live in Canada, anyways, it was known as like a Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine and Kirby's Avalanche in Canada and America. But in Japan, it was the Puyo Puyo series. And the reason why it wasn't, released as Puyo Puyo is because, just the style of the characters and stories in this game is just something, that I guess North Americans probably wouldn't like, even though, anime's popular here. But, I can't seem to tell that much of a gameplay difference with this compared to like other Puyo Puyo games or Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine, because I don't know, I'm just not an expert on this game. But it is fun. Well, one difference I've noticed is that there's this sun item that appears, and I guess the story's different, but I can't understand it. You don't really need to know Japanese in order to play it. The menus might be confusing, but, it's still playable. It's not like it's a text-based strategy game or a text-based RPG. It's a puzzle game. And, one thing I want to note about, Japanese N64 games is that, the cartridges are slightly different from North American ones. Like, here's the tab. Like, pay attention. Like, these tabs right here. And, compare them to the Japanese game. As you can see, the tabs are different. I hope you can see that. But, yeah, that's actually due to a physical region lockout. Like, the thing is, I modded my N64, like, I removed these certain tabs. You can look up a video on how to, remove those tabs. But if you remove these certain tabs in the cartridge slot of your N64, you'll be able to play imports just fine. So, keep that in mind. Ooh, what's next? Let's move on to some modern games right here. Castlevania Order of Ecclesia for the DS. This is more my brother's game because, he really likes the DS Castlevania games. I've played all of them. In fact, I've played every single game I own up to this point. This one I played the most. I don't know what to think of it, really. I might actually try and get into it, but, Got 3DS games here. Adventure Time, Hey Ice King, Why Did You Steal Our Garbage? It's quite a long title. You might not know this, but I'm a pretty big fan of Adventure Time. Not a huge fan, but I'd say a somewhat big fan. I enjoy the show, and I really enjoy this game. It's basically just an action-adventure game. Just doing all kinds of things. I don't know really how to explain to it. I'm about 55% done with this game. So, I'm getting there. I've been playing it. And, I actually might think might be even a hidden gem on the 3DS. Actually. That's how good I think the game is. It's really, it's a well-designed game. Metal Gear Solid Snake Eater 3D. Again, this was a game that my brother bought. I played it a couple times. I didn't get very far in it. And, you know, I don't know what to think of it, really. Shinobi! This is not a recent pickup at all, actually. Like, I've had this since June of 2013, but I'm talking about it here because, you know, I have my reasons. This is a pretty fun game. It's hard. Like, I can't get past the 3rd level. But, you know, this was like $10 in a bargain bin. And again, this might even be a hidden gem on the 3DS, considering, you know, how cheap it is. And, you know, I enjoy just, you know, going around, hacking and slashing. Okay, well, it's not really a beat-em-up, but, you know, slashing enemies. You know, the levels are well-crafted, just a really enjoyable game. Hold on, how long has this video been going? 6 minutes? Uncharted 2 Among Thieves. I don't have the first Uncharted, unfortunately, or Uncharted Golden Abyss on the Vita, but, Uncharted 3, like, I'm a huge fan of that game. That's one of my favorite games of all time. And, the same can be said for, Uncharted 2, except I haven't played it as much. I'm, halfway done Chapter 4 in this game, and, with, Uncharted 3 Drake's Deception, I'm halfway done Chapter 9. But, you know, the thing I love about the Uncharted series is just, you know, the theme of the levels, the feeling of adventure, and all these things. They're just, you know, they're just excellent games, and I can't wait to get Uncharted Golden Abyss on the PlayStation Vita, if I ever get one, or Uncharted 1 Drake's Fortune. I also got a really good deal on this. This was $3. Good deal. What's next? How about these Sega Genesis games? Why not? My friend Jason, who you probably know as Ventus Hero 351, found these and gave them to me because he doesn't own a Sega Genesis. Disney's Aladdin and Disney's The Jungle Book. I do think Aladdin for Genesis is a much better game than Jungle Book. I just, you know, felt more motivated to play it. I thought it was more fun. Jungle Book isn't bad at all, actually. But, you know, I just think Aladdin's better. I don't know how else to explain it. What's next? Let's go with it. Oh, we got 2 NES games, actually, not just one. We have Mach Rider for NES. I actually enjoyed this game a lot more than I thought. It was pretty cheap. I think it was like $4. And, you know, it's fun. Just, you know, this Mach Rider in 2112. You know, you're going around the courses, trying to make it to the end, or trying to qualify by going a certain amount of kilometers. You know, you can control your speeds, and, you know, design your courses. Fun stuff. The music's nice, and, worth checking out if you have an NES. It's cheap, you know. Pick it up. Pick it up. Pick it up. Okay, Shadowgate. I remember when I saw the Super Gaming Brothers play through this game, I'm like, you know what? I think I actually want to get that. This is one of 3 point-and-click puzzle adventure games for the NES, the other 2 being Deja Vu and Uninvited. Shadowgate just, what do I say, interest me the most out of the 3, and I will probably get Deja Vu and Uninvited, but, you know, they all play the same. You're basically this character, and you're pointing and clicking objects, and basically, you know, going through all kinds of things. You know, you have options, like you could, you know, speak to things, you can, you know, investigate things, you can use things on things. You know, check out gameplay, because, you know, it's, probably what I'm saying is very vague. But, you know, this game was also, ported to the Game Boy Color. It was called Shadowgate Classic, so if you don't have an NES, you can check that one out. Or you could check out, Shadowgate 64 for the N64, or even Beyond Shadowgate for the TurboGrafx CD, assuming you have a TurboGrafx CD, which I'm pretty sure none of my viewers do. But, you know, Shadowgate, it's fun. Puzzles can be a bit of a bastard. Not a pick-up-and-play game by any means, though. Alright, how much time do I have left? Okay, Game Gear games. Remember what I said about Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine? Yeah, Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine. For the longest time, I had the digital 3DS download version of this, but it's great to have the original. I'm honestly not that huge on this kind of these kind of puzzle game styles. I'm not very good at them, but I still enjoy them, and I have no regrets getting this. Hopefully, I'll get the Genesis version, because I need to get I need to get every Sonic game, even Sonic EduSoft for the Sega Master System, or the reproduction of that, because Sonic EduSoft was never released. But yeah, oh yeah, Jurassic Park. This game actually surprised me. It's more fun than I thought, and the music's also pretty good stuff too. You don't play as the Velociraptor, or you don't have the option to play as the Velociraptor like you do in the Sega Genesis game. You just play as a human. I don't know who the hell the human is. I never saw the movie, but it's fun just going around shooting things. This was like $6. Again, a game I've been meaning to get, but it surprised me. I didn't think I would enjoy it as much as I did. Myst on Sega Saturn. It's also on a lot of different platforms. DS, PSP, 3DS, Atari Jaguar, CDI, 3DO, or Atari Jaguar CD, CDI, 3DO, the PC, and it's basically a point-and-click puzzle adventure game. It's kind of a bastard to play through. Like, you really gotta investigate these places. But, I enjoyed it, really. And also, one thing I really like about this game, is not only the gameplay, but I also really like the graphics in this game. It's beautiful, the environments, and, yeah, just so good stuff. And the graphics remind me of Sonic Extreme's conceptual level art. Look that up if, you want to see what that looks like. And also look up what, Myst looks like so you can see the similarities. But, yeah. And also one thing that's funny is that the sequel to this game is called Riven. But it's not just called Riven, it's called Riven, the sequel to Myst. So, there's fact of the day. Got some Japanese Saturn games, because I recently got a Game Shark for my Sega Saturn. It's currently in the system right now, because I didn't bother taking it out. But, anyways, I got a Willy Wombat, and, this game's basically like a isometric puzzle action game. You're just, in these levels, killing all the bad guys, collecting keys to advance. Good stuff. Some of the music's really nice. Admittedly, some levels in the game are fucking terrible. But there are some really good ones, too. I think there's more good ones than bad ones. Like, some are definitely better than others, but, the level, like, the second level in the fifth world, I fucking hate it. But, I'll probably do a review on this game. It's also a decently cheap game, so, yeah, there's some food for thought. How much time do I have left? Okay. The last game I got here is Neon Genesis Evangelion, or Neon Genesis Evangelion. I don't know. I usually say Evangelion, because that's how FinGamer says it, I think. Now, I believe it's called Neon Genesis Evangelion Girlfriend of Steel. But if you look closely, it says Neon Genesis Evangelion Iron Maiden. However, Wikipedia and eBay says it's Girlfriend of Steel. And Game FAQs says it's something else. So, I just call it Girlfriend of Steel because, that's what it's called on Wikipedia and eBay. And, yeah. And even, like, on the spine here, there's, like, some Japanese text and on there. So, yeah. The game itself is definitely a one-of-a-kind for me. Like, this is the only kind of graphic novel game I have. Graphic novel games are a genre that, I never really dwelled into. I mainly got this because, one, it was $1. And, I was feeling ballsy. I think, yeah, let's go for a Japanese game that I don't know much about. I ended up beating this game. It's not hard at all. You won't understand the story or, what's going on if you don't know Japanese, but it's not a hard game. I mean, yeah, sure, it comes with, like, 2 discs, like, here's the first one, And, you know, here's the second one, but, you know, still, just not a hard game. But it also isn't on Saturn. I mean, it's also not just on Saturn, it's on PS1, and I think it's also on PS2 and the PSP, I'm not sure, but, you know, hey. Well, that concludes this episode of Gaming Pickups. How long is this? Jesus. Alright, well, see you guys then.